It's my fight prediction for Cris Cyborg versus Larissa Pacheco. I think this is going to be an interesting fight. Both of these ladies are good in the stand-up position. Cyborg, a striker with some ability to do submissions or ground and pound, depending on uh, what situation she's in. And I think that Pacheco is just a better all-around fighter. She can do a little bit of everything, and that kind of makes her a little more dangerous, just because any scenario she can end up winning or dominating. So I think that's a huge threat to the situation for Cris Cyborg. She has to be able to go in there and pull this off and dominate, and also show Pacheco that she's a better striker. I think right now the consensus for a lot of people is, even though that Cyborg has a background of being dangerous in that position as far as striking, I think a lot of people look at Pacheco as someone who's right there with her. And her leg strikes, both of their leg strikes they throw leg kicks, but it's not a big part of their game, but they still can throw it. But the striking is a lot more. I think Pacheco's ground game is a lot better. She can fight off her back, which is something that Cyborg hasn't been able to do successfully a lot in her career, but she can be able to do it as well. They got a lot of similarities in a lot of situations. So it's going to be a tough fight for Cyborg either way. She has to come out being aggressive, calculated punching. I think lately her punching has been a little wild. She gets someone in a certain position and she kind of lets them off the hook because of the way she has them against the cage. She's not really putting the pressure on them and cutting the corners off and holding them to basically the cage. Press them against the cage, put your weight on them. I think a lot of times Pacheco will be able to get out just because, I don't know, like Cyborg not going to be able to cut the cage off like that. So there'll be a lot of the fight that's in stand-up. When it goes to the ground, I think Pacheco will be able to take an advantage. If she can take it late into the fight and try to get a submission, that would be a good game plan. But you still have to withstand the striking from Cyborg. Cyborg gonna try to go for a KO. So you have to watch out for that, especially when you're on the ground. Still, she's able to do ground and pound and maneuver her way out. But with Pacheco, she has to take advantage when she's on the ground and try to put some damage on her. Whatever you gotta do. Submissions. If I was her, I would try to submit her. She has lost from submission before. That would be the number one game plan. I would try to get the fight to the ground, try to get a submission. If I was Pacheco, I think this is going to be a very tough fight. Thinking about a knockout, but a knockout is going to be tough to get against Pacheco. I know it's going to be one of those fights where it's going to be a very long fight. It's going to be a lot of chances where you can stop somebody. But I think Pacheco is going to try to hang on. She's going to try to hang in there. She really is. She's tough. This is not an easy fight for Cyborg. It's one of the toughest fights she's had lately. So I will say I'm gonna go with Cris Cyborg in this fight. If you wanna pick a stoppage TKO, you can do that. But I think I'm gonna go with decision on this. I think Pacheco gonna test the waters. It's 50-50 right now. I'm leaning towards a knockout, but then I'm leaning towards a decision because I think Pacheco has the skill to survive and press and make the fight competitive. But we'll see. It's going to be a very tough fight.